So the next part of our fourth unit is exergy. Okay. So exergy is nothing but the available energy. The available energy is called as exergy. Okay. And let's see what is this available or unavailable energy. Okay. So we have already studied about heat and work. We have said work is a high grade energy. Heat is a low grade energy. Why all of work can be converted into heat. So work is a high grade energy. But if you look at heat, all of heat cannot be converted into work. Some of the heat has to be rejected to the surroundings or rejected to the sink. So that is what the second law told us. The second law told us complete conversion of heat into work is impossible. Complete conversion of heat into work. So a low grade energy into a high grade energy is not possible. We are calling it as low grade energy because all of heat cannot be converted into work. So you are not able to convert all of work into heat. Sorry, all of heat into work. So whatever heat is available for conversion into work, that is called as available energy. It is like a minimum balance that you have to maintain in your bank account. Okay, all of you have a bank account, right? Okay, you would have opened a bank account, and while opening the bank account, they will say 500. I'm not sure what is the basic amount. When we studied in college, 100 rupees was the amount that has to be maintained in the account. You can't take that 100 rupees, right? So you may have 1,000 or 2,000 rupees in your account, but the actual amount that is available for your usage is only 1,900. That 100 you can't use. That 100 is your money only, but that 100 cannot be utilized from your account. That is what we are saying here. Okay, the energy is there, 2,000 rupees is there, but that which is available for usage is only 1,900 rupees. So the available rupees is 1,900, unavailable rupee is 100. Similarly, the energy, you have a total energy, not all of that energy is available for work. Only some amount is available for work, and that we call as available energy. And that which is not available, we call it as unavailable energy. Okay, so the low grade energy which is to be rejected, we call it as unavailable energy. Okay, so here we have, let's say I have an engine which operates between a temperature T1 and T2. And we all know Q1 amount of heat can be supplied to the heat engine. And Q2 is the amount of heat that needs to be rejected. And we have already seen, so in the working of a heat engine, whatever heat is supplied, part of it is converted into work W and part of it is rejected to the surrounding. So Q1 is equal to Q2 plus W. And this W which is available is called as the available energy, and this heat which is rejected to the surroundings is called as the unavailable energy. So you can say Q1 is equal to available energy plus unavailable energy. Say suppose the heat engine is a reversible heat engine, then the work that you extract from the heat engine is the maximum work. So we call it as W max. So W max is the available energy which is equal to Q1 minus unavailable energy. Just rearranging the previous equation. So available energy is Q1 minus UV, and that available energy is the maximum amount of work that can be extracted from a reversible heat engine. And by definition, we know the efficiency of a reversible heat engine is 1 minus T2 by T1 if it is a Carnot engine. So for a given source temperature T1, the efficiency of that heat engine will increase whenever you decrease the value of T2. Okay, which means when you are decreasing the value of T2, what do I mean by that? Okay, say suppose initially, say my source temperature is 1000 Kelvin. Okay, and if I keep T2 as 500, Okay, the temperature difference is only 500. But if I keep it as low as 100, okay, now the temperature difference is 900, right? So that much amount of temperature difference can be converted into work. So if you minimize the value of T2, that much amount of temperature difference can be converted into work. So we always try to lower T2, but we can't lower it below the ambient temperature because that is the surrounding temperature. You can lower it up to T naught, where T naught is the ambient temperature. So your eta max will be 1 minus eta T naught by T1. So the lowest sink temperature is the ambient temperature. So 1 minus T naught by T1. So W max can be written as 1 minus T naught by T1 into Q1. Okay. So which means what we have written here is this eta max can be written as W max divided by Q1. Okay. And so your W max will be 1 minus T naught by T1 into Q1. So that is the maximum amount of work that can be extracted from this particular heat engine. Okay. And once again, I have taken these two diagrams from PKNR, availability of energy. So what we do is we have the TS diagram and imagine an elementary heat engine where you have dQ1 amount of heat supplied at the source temperature T1 and T naught is the ambient temperature. Okay, so if you are taking one element, one elementary cycle where the heat supplied is dQ1 at the source temperature T1 and the ambient is T naught. Okay, then I can write this as dW max. So I hope you are able to follow this. Your eta max is 1 minus T naught by T1. And so I can write this as 1 minus T naught divided by T1. Okay. And because it is eta max, your W should also be maximum. So that is W max divided by Q1. So from this, I can write dW max is equal to, so W max will be T1 minus T naught by T1 into Q1. So if it is for an elementary cycle, I can write this as dW max is equal to T1 minus T naught by T1 into dQ1 because dQ1 is the amount of heat supply. So the work delivered by this elementary cycle will also be dW max. Okay. And so if I write it as 1 minus T naught by T1, so I can write it as dQ1 minus T naught by T1 into dQ1. Okay. And we have already seen the work that is delivered is the available energy. And that is why we call it as available energy AE. Okay. So this is for one elementary cycle. If I am going to integrate it between the limits x and y for the entire process, for the entire cycle, okay. So if it is between x and y, then if I integrate it, what do I get? I get, if I integrate dq1, I get q between xy or in the path xy. So q x to y minus T naught into Sy minus Sx. How did I get this? This dq1 by T1. Integral of dq by T is change in entropy. Okay, integral of dq by T is change in entropy. So when I integrate dq by T, it becomes change in entropy. This T naught, this is not going to change. This is ambient temperature which can be taken outside the integral. So it becomes minus T naught into Sy minus Sx. Okay. So your W max is Qxy minus T naught into Sy minus Sx. You have to follow it a little bit carefully because all the equations are one and the same. The explanations that I give matters. Okay. So your W max can be written as Qxy minus T naught into Sy minus Sx. Okay. And the unavailable energy is the energy that is rejected to the sink. Okay, so this is the W max. And so the Q1 minus W is your Q2. Q2 is unavailable energy. So Q1 happens to be Qxy minus W max. So that is your unavailable energy. And your Qxy, you're retaining it as such. And just now we have got the value for W max. And for W max, I can write this as minus Qxy plus T naught into Sy minus Sx. So I can cancel out these two terms, and what I have is T naught into Sy minus Xx. Okay, so this is the unavailable energy. So in a generic sense, you can say T naught into Sy minus Sx is your unavailable energy. Okay, so the available energy is called as exergy, and the unavailable energy is called as anergy. Okay, energy, instead of energy, we call it as anergy, which is the unavailable energy. So if you look at this particular graph, so in this particular diagram 8.3, okay, available energy is your W max, and here everything below this T naught, this is unavailable energy, which means energy is available, but I can't tap into that resource. It is like the 100 rupees that you have to maintain in your account, which cannot be utilized for your usual work. Okay,